I'm delighted to be here with you today. Welcome to P-Roadwise Association of Kenya. My name is Dennis Nyambane. I'm a first aider trainer. When you talk of first aid, it's a set of activities that are provided to a victim of an accident or victim of circumstances using the appropriate principles of first aid. There are three aims of providing first aid. One is to prevent further injuries. Most of the time when victims sustain injuries, sometimes we end up mishandling them, especially at the scene of accident. So if we have the appropriate principles, we can prevent them from sustaining further injuries. Secondly, we want to provide first aid so that we can be able to preserve lives. Most of the time in road traffic accidents, victims usually sustain very severe accidents. And if no action is taken very fast, we might end up losing these victims. Third principle is ensuring, or the aim is to ensure that our victims end up to the appropriate health facility. Anybody trained in first aid can be able to provide the first aid, whether at home, at school or areas of work, in churches, or at the roads where an accident has occurred. Look at the critical steps to follow in case of an emergency. The first step to follow is ensuring that you are safe before you can approach the victim or the scene of an accident. How will you ensure this? One, you need to have personal protective gear. For instance, it's highly encouraged that you need to carry gloves or improvised equipment which can help you to protect yourself from any other injuries or even body fluids, because most of the time the body fluids are likely to carry some contaminants or infections. Secondly, you need to assess the area to ensure that the area is safe before you approach. I want to give you an example. For example, if it's a road traffic accident, most of the time there is traffic that is flowing. So you need to ensure that the traffic has been put to an hold before you can rush and assist the victim. The third step is calling for emergency. In terms of calling for emergency, it's very critical that you need to understand that accidents usually involve quite a number of victims, and so in this case you need assistance. And the most effective way to do this is to call the police hotline number. In our case, the hotline number is 99 or common called 999. After calling the emergency number, you now need to set in and assess the victim to see which kind of injury they've sustained and which kind of interventions you need to put in place. So the first step you want to do is to check if the victim is alert and responsive. So you can either call the victim or you can tap them on the shoulder. A simple tap on the shoulder can help to identify if they are breathing. If they are not breathing or they are not responsive, then the next thing you need to do is to simply open the airway. And the easiest way to do is to lift the chin up and see if they are going to respond. If they are not going to respond, it means the victim is weak and he needs some help. Thirdly, you need to check if they are breathing. For breathing, you need to check if the chest is rising and falling. Apart from the chest rising and falling, you also need to check if there is air that is going through the nostrils. The fourth step is to check if the heart is beating. And for us to check if the heart is beating, you need to check on the blood vessels around the neck. On either side of the neck, using your two fingers, you'll be able to feel a pulsation or the heart beating. If it's not beating, then now this victim needs your assistance. And the assistance the victim needs at this point in time is what we call cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or simply abbreviated as CPR.